So we're gonna open the Board of Health meeting. 7 o'clock on the agenda is administrative matters. First thing are the minutes. We're waiting on, we've got one absent board member, and then we're waiting on someone, but there's 3 of us here, so we could vote on the minutes, or why don't we hold off on that, she should be here, and go to board member reports. Or any reports?
I do not have any reports.
Gino, you?
I have many people call and complain about this regulation.
Okay. People who weren't at the meeting?
Unfortunately, yes.
And anything else on that?
No.
We're gonna open up that hearing again. Correspondence?
I have a couple of permits that need signing, but then we have a whole bunch depending on how the hearings go. Do you want to
Mhm.
sign the 2 that you
Okay.
Yeah, why don't
sign
we,
anyway?
why don't we do that? Because we've got till 7:10 to open 31 Forest Street. Hi.
Gina?
We just went into board member reports. If you've got
Start
anything,
with
we'll
those
circle
two.
back, because we've got till 10 past.
I don't have any reports, but I have this, the sewer project Q&A forum on Wednesday night
Oh,
that
yeah,
I think it's important that everybody go to,
yeah.
so
Right.
that we can be, there's also a conflict with the volunteer meeting, the
Oh.
emergency preparedness.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's also on the 24th, and I guess they have somebody coming from town out
Springfield?
west, Springfield,
Yeah.
that,
Was there during the tornado?
yeah, teaches how to be prepared for a tornado.
Mhm.
And they, in the email, it said it would be nice if there were more than 6 people, but we've got this really big smart sewer project meeting or discussion on Wednesday night also
Yeah.
that probably conflicts with
6:30
it.
at the high school?
Yep, Wednesday, October 24th, Littleton Smart Sewer Project, 6:30 at the high school.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
That's too bad about the tornado thing.
Yep, so please email questions that you would like answered at the forum. You can do this ahead of time. Email your questions to probably, Craig, is it?
Chase?
Chase.
Chase?
I think so.
I think, I don't know.
Yeah, email.
Or does it have to go to the planning board?
No, it goes to the Smart Sewer website, and
Oh,
I
okay.
think it makes it easier that they can, you can put your questions in first, and then they know ahead of time that there's this question, and then they'll, instead of answering it 3 different times, they'll answer it just once.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
And we're gonna sign something. Do you have anything else? You had passed something around about the marijuana stuff?
Yeah, that was, Kevin just wanted to pass that on for informational reasons.
Yeah, the Massachusetts Association of Health Boards has a template for local boards of health to utilize and work off of for local Board of Health marijuana regulations. So we can take a read of that and address it.
all right, my turn to ask for a pen. Do you have an extra pen?
Pass this to Lisa.
Lisa?
Thank you.
Just the 2?
For now, until we see how you go.
Was this Gristmill? Is that the house with the woman that had the kids that she was adding? We told her to get it.
What number?
It doesn't have any variances on it.
These 2 are just standard ones
Okay.
that Jim signed.
No, I was just wondering if it was that same woman. That she had an extra room upstairs that she wanted.
Yeah. Kevin, what are we supposed to do on the marijuana law? I'm sorry.
We could just read through those regulations at some point. We have a busy meeting tonight,
Okay.
but maybe at the next meeting, we could put it on the agenda to see if we want to tailor those, update them, edit them, change them, and then adopt them.
All right, so I think we can go back to the minutes. So we've got 3 sets of minutes here. 2 of them you had sent around before,
2 were at
And
the
then-
previous meeting, and then the last set.
and then the current
Let's
one,
look at
yeah.
that one. It says that.
So if we want to start on September 11th? 2018. So we should have already reviewed those.
Yep.
I just have a couple edits.
You know that, Sharon, make sure everybody else agrees with them and then we
Sure. Discussion on 12 Lakeview. Ted Doucette from Doucette Engineering presented 3 plan options stating that they each offer the same environmental protection. I just added that, stating that, in his opinion, they each offer the same environmental protection. And then same, down further in the paragraph, Doucette stated, I feel like it should read, gave his opinion that there is no environmental benefit to having the system further from the property line.
Yep, I agree with that. You okay with that, Gene?
I think, I'll just keep it up, and get in touch with Ted Doucette so they can be here maybe next meeting. And then we can just discuss, I don't see why we have to change all these regulations.
We're just talking about these minutes.
Just talking about the minutes right now.
But,
Are you?
Anthony, the assistant, you know Anthony from here?
Yeah.
Okay, he says he's gonna get in touch with the attorney, and the attorney will probably will come.
So this is about the minutes.
No, I know.
So we have to wait to talk about.
We can't talk
Okay.
about that.
We have to wait until the hearing.
Okay, I read with the minutes.
So we're talking about 9/11, and did you, Lisa? you
I
okay with
already
those edits?
sent you my edits
I already read mine.
via email.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
already been incorporated.
Okay.
I had all
So-
weekend to read it.
Does somebody move to
I make a motion to accept it.
9/11?
9/11.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and then September 25th?
I read it too.
Any edits?
I think I emailed Janet my edits already,
On the Long
and there weren't
Lake,
very many.
yeah, on the Long Lake hearing, 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph down, it says tight tank, it should just be treatment tank on the first sentence.
Oh,
Okay.
And that was all I had.
you want to move to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes on the 9/25, 2018.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, now we're at October 9th.
I didn't have a chance to read those yet.
Okay. So we'll wait on those?
Sorry. Okay.
So I think we're done with the administrative matters, and then we're going to public hearing, it's 7:10 now, so we go to public hearing, 31 Florence Street, Rosemary Wing. You want to come up? Or have your engineer come up, either way. You can both come up, or however you'd like to do it.
There you go.
And you both signed in?
Yes.
Yeah.
How you doing? When do you close?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Steve Sears from David Ross Associates, and I'm here with Rose Wing. And we're here to ask for two variances. One's a local royalty regulation variance, and the other one's a local upgrade approval variance. This is for a replacement for a failing system at 31 Florence Street. And I'll show this to you. Here's the design, actually, you can see it there too. It's let's see, existing 3-bedroom house on town water. The system in the backyard failed. The existing tank is right here. The leach field is approximately in the same spot, and we've designed a presby so we could keep the profile a lot lower than stone pipe. We actually had originally designed this with a retaining wall, and Jim Gariffi recommended we remove the retaining wall, lower it, and ask for a 2-foot groundwater offset. And that's what we've done. I can recite the variances. We're asking for a Littleton Board of Health variance, Regulation 23, which states proposed fill and grading to be 10 feet off the property line. We're within 5 feet of the property line on with the toe of the fill, toe of the slope. And that's to eliminate the concrete retaining wall. And we put a poly barrier in here for the breakout. And the second request is a local upgrade approval, reduction of septic system from estimated high groundwater from 4 feet to 2 foot offset, which again was recommended by Jim to eliminate the wall and keep the system away from the house so no gray water gets into the basement. And that's where we're at. Oh, green cards?
You said it was a Presby?
Yes.
And there's not going to be any increase in flow? It's going to be
Nope.
still 3 bedrooms?
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna, it has to remain the same number of bedrooms.
What was your perk rate?
Perk rate was 19 minutes per inch.
Does anyone want to volunteer to read Jim's notes?
Sure. 31 Florence Street. The septic system for the site has failed Title V inspection. Soil testing is conducted and plans drawn for the replacement of the system. The site has a number of restrictions which makes it difficult to design a septic system in full compliance with Title V and your local regulations. Small lot, high seasonal water table, house placement on the lot. The proposed design would require a reduction of the groundwater offset from 4 feet to 2 feet and the use of a barrier on the stone wall side of the system. The high water table will cause the system to be mounted in the backyard, and the designer has attempted to minimize the height of the system and move it closer to the back property line. The groundwater reduction allows the designer to grade the area between the system fill and the cellar wall to minimize potential surface water flooding in the backyard, and use the use of the barrier also. The use of the barrier allows the system to be located further back on the lot, allowing more room for grading between the house and the system. I do not have an issue with the request. The lot is served by town water, and the potential for service runoff into the house is a major concern.
Yeah, I think that's why he's got the barrier.
Oh, okay.
That's why they pushed it back.
Okay,
Yeah,
it
that's
just
why we
sounded
pushed it
funny.
back
Yeah.
from the house.
I had to go back.
So what's the grade top of, grade right behind the house, and then what's the top of the septic?
There's a couple grade shots right here,
Yeah.
101.6 and 101.4 ground shots in the top of the system.
Yeah,
Finished grade around the system is 103.5. So this is 2 feet higher than the back of the lawn here. But we've got 10 feet of a no-fill. From the back of the foundation to the toe of the fill is a 10-foot buffer there, so anything runs off will just weep into the grass right there. So our original design, we had the fill and grading right up to the foundation.
can you fill behind the house anymore to make it even?
They could, but the whole purpose was to get the fill away from the house so the water's not shedding down to the
Yeah, I mean, is there enough concrete behind the house on the foundation so you can
top of
bring the grade
foundation.
up? And
top of
slope
the
it down?
foundation is 103.4,
And top of the system is 103?
103.5.
Okay. So it's an inch.
But that was the problem, if we
Right.
fill and grade to the house, then they're apt to get water in the basement.
Right.
So by stopping the fill and grading prior to the house, then that should eliminate it, and the house will just be the way it always is. You don't get water in the basement now.
Are there any butters?
Any abutters?
I actually live on Brandt on the corner,
Yeah.
so I'm fine with it.
Oh, good.
As long as it's in the back, there's nothing in the front, please go ahead.
Okay. Anybody, board?
No, it's
You
fine.
make a motion?
Yep. I'll make a motion
Basement.
to accept the plans, including the 2 variances, as noted,
Dated.
dated August 2018.
Yes, the plan is dated 2018,
Um,
and then we changed it for Jim, so it was revised. The last revision was 9/22/18. I'm sorry, 10/4, October 4th,
Okay.
2018. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
okay.
We had to reduce the number of doses to 4 instead of 1 dose out of the chamber at the request of Jim.
So it's 10/4/2018.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Thanks for your butter. See, 20, yeah.
You got a couple minutes.
Yeah, we're scheduled for 7:20 for 7 Charter Way. Sarah Jacka. I'm just gonna wait a minute.
That's
so we're right on schedule.
You're waiting, you guys will
Okay,
sign
Larry.
that one.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So we're just I can bring it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Amazing matching on the Red Sox gear from the shoes.
Those are Patriots shoes.
Oh,
But they
throws
match.
it off.
But they do match.
It does look like it's all one piece together.
I'm a theme dresser.
Yeah, we need to get everybody out of here, right?
That's right.
Okay, we can open it. So we're gonna open the hearing on 7:20, 7 Charter Way, Sarah Jadka, Title V variance request and well variance notice.
Yes.
Are you Sarah?
Yes, I
Did you
am.
sign in, Sarah?
Yes, I
Okay,
did.
thank you.
So we would like to put a well at our summer cottage on 7 Charter Way, which is on Fort Pond. In the past, we've always had a hose pumping water from the pond, but especially now with grandchildren, I'd like to be able to use the faucets and have drinking water. So we had a surveyor come, and he picked the best spot for us. But because it's such an unusual lot, we need some variances just to put a well in any place because it's only 94 feet across instead of the 100. So, but the place he picked is right on the corner next to number 5 with Ryan Bedditz. And he did send a letter, I hope you got it too, that said that he didn't mind and we're closest to him on the site for the well.
So I don't believe I've ever done a well before.
No, and, you know,
Me either.
And
well, the variance is because they want to decrease the offset between the septic system and the well location. So
Okay.
there's typically a buffer so that the septic system doesn't contaminate the
Yeah.
well. But, so I'm gonna read what Jim said, and then I
Okay.
followed up with Jim with a question, because I had a question about this. So,
Okay.
the applicant has a cottage on Charter Way, and they would like to install a new well to provide a potable water supply to the cottage. Currently, the cottage has a water line to the lake. The applicant has submitted a survey sketch showing the lots line and the locations of existing structures, wells, and septic systems abutting their property. The proposed well location tries to maximize the offsets to the existing on-site sewage disposal system, their own, and the property lines, and work with the site conditions, long narrow lots, pond at one end, and a common drive affecting a good portion of the usable area. The proposed well location maximizes the offset to the existing septic system, and its location should not affect the ability of the abutting properties to repair their systems. I don't have an issue with the request as the proposed well will be constructed properly and provide a potable water supply for the cottage. So the question I had was when I looked at the submittal, if you look at the back of the plan, there's an installer's as-built and certification. And I don't really understand, well, I do
That's
understand.
this one
so-
here?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's dated September 27, 2018, and at the bottom, it says, "I have inspected and went on record, subsurface sewage disposal system in accordance with Title V, is clogged with roots and not functioning as designed." So I asked Jim about it, and Jim said that when he conducted his site visit, there were no obvious signs of failure. The system appears marginal, but I believe the cottage is used seasonally. But I think he missed this where it's actually certified by the engineer that the septic system isn't functioning properly, which means you could have more discharge coming from your septic system, and I'm afraid that the well could be contaminated.
Can you have the system checked?
Yes, by the same one who did this one, and when he checked
They
it,
did already,
Yeah.
so it's right here.
Yeah, but if there's a problem, have it checked and have it taken care of, and then come back and we can grant.
I think it seems like it could be dangerous to put the well in next to a septic system that's not functioning.
Usually it goes 100 feet, so if
Yeah.
we give you a variance, let's say for 60 feet, something like that, and then you contaminate it, we gotta check the septic system.
well, he did come and check it
I know,
before we
but-
went through
Mhm.
getting it all down here on paper, and,
How
he's-
long ago did you have it cleaned? How long ago?
he said it didn't need cleaning when he opened it up and stirred
Because
it
you
and
only
stuff.
use it for the season?
Yeah, and we haven't been using it much the last few seasons.
But when you use it, when did it, because usually, even if it's only 3-4 months, let's say 4 years, because it's how many people, just you and somebody else?
Well, nobody lives there full-time,
No,
we
I
just,
understand,
yeah.
it's seasonal, yeah.
Yes, so it'd be me, and I have 3 children,
Okay.
one who's married with 2 children.
Okay, so they come, and they stay all the time with you?
No,
Just they come and visit?
yes,
Okay, if they had it clean, and there is no problem, and they,
Well, this is saying there's roots growing in it.
I know.
So it's not functioning.
that's what I'm saying.
So,
well, he told me that it was usable, but it probably,
but we have a certification here that says that an inspector looked at it and it's not functioning as designed.
yes.
So this
So-
way, it's hard.
I don't think we can approve it.
I think you need to get more information
Yeah, and
about
then
your
you can come
system
back.
Yeah.
before you want to put the well
Yeah, you
in.
don't-
You won't want to put a well in that
Your
might
water
get
be
contaminated.
Yeah.
So it's probably in your best interest to have, I don't know, a septic
I think-
system inspection?
Yeah, I think you need to follow up with Jim on it. I'm not quite sure.
Are you asking her to do Title V?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'd like to circle back with Jim, because this
Right.
doesn't line up. What he's telling us doesn't line up with this.
You just want to make sure he saw that comment.
I don't know if he did.
Okay.
It looks to me like he did not.
Okay.
Well, I know he's the one who sent me the copy of it, so, I mean, this came from Jim,
Right,
this copy. I didn't get it from the
right.
ABC cesspool.
So I guess that the question is what does the board want to do? Do we want to, I guess we'd have to continue it.
Yeah.
All right, so,
It's probably, I mean,
all right, so what you want me to do is to get this ABC cesspool guy back, and,
I think what we need to do is alert Jim again that this is in here, and then we'll follow up.
Because maybe what they can do is go in and with a roto-rooter and get the roots
Yeah.
out and
Alright,
get it into better working condition.
we did take down a lot of the trees
Okay.
that had
Yeah.
been
So
causing
we
the
want to try
roots
to work it through so we get a good outcome here. So let's
Yeah.
talk to Jim about it and then see what happens,
Okay,
right? Just-
yeah,
we
we're not,
agree
I
with
don't
that?
think we're saying no, I think we're just saying
Yeah.
you need to.
It's for your own protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, no,
'Cause
I
you don't want-
understand that, I
yeah.
appreciate that,
Yeah.
but,
And
Because
your
you're,
kids.
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, so let's.
all right, so I should wait, then, and Jim will,
Make an appointment with
Yeah,
the assistant,
so we want to,
administrator,
somebody needs to move to,
make a motion to.
A motion,
To continue.
I'd like to make a motion to continue this till our next meeting until you have a chance to talk with Jim about the condition of the system. and
Okay.
See if we can get it cleaned up a little bit.
all right, thank you.
I have a question.
7:10.
Oh, yeah.
At 7:10.
That's right, we
Oh,
forgot to ask about
Yeah,
this.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm her daughter.
Oh.
Do we need to notify the abutters again if it's continued or no?
And we forgot to ask if there's
Any other
abutters here
abutters?
tonight.
I would think
We do have a letter from an abutter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, we should read that.
Yeah.
It was a
And
nice,
they didn't
nice
have a
letter.
problem with it. It was a nice letter.
It was.
You want to read that?
I've got it, do you want to read it, or did
Go
you
ahead.
find it? Oh, go
Who
ahead.
wants to be happy and read the letter?
I'll read the letter. Dear Board of Health, I wanted to voice my support for granting variances to install the well at 7 Charter Way per the plans that you have and was mailed to me as one of the direct abutters. I like the idea of the well being installed on the far edge of the property to get as far as possible from my tight tank and their septic system. It would be good for them to have well water instead of water from the pond. Thank you for your services to the town, and I hope you can grant them the ability to install a well. Sincerely, Ryan Betez.
That was nice.
Yep.
Thank you for coming.
Mr. Martez has been writing a lot of letters, I think, this month.
So, did we
So I'd
had
like to make a motion to continue this
Okay.
to the next
At
possible meeting.
7:10. 7:10 at the
Yep.
next meeting.
7:10 at the next
Okay,
meeting.
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And
No,
we need a
And
second?
the time?
Yeah, we have to put the time down now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
November 13th.
We need a second?
November 13th at 7:10.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Bye.
Okay, great. And we are at
2 minutes.
7:30. Yeah, right on
So the variance
schedule.
is just this,
Yeah.
just the space between
Yeah.
the existing septic system and the well.
Mhm. Well, you have 1 minute to 7:30, public hearing for 11 Worcester Road, Scott Hayes, Foresight Engineering, fill within 10 feet of the property line for septic system. So if Scott Hayes wants to come up.
I only had, I need 2 copies so that you guys can
Okay.
share the big plans.
Okay.
Okay, do you have it?
I haven't seen it. I haven't even opened this
Oh,
up.
okay.
Maybe I should open it.
Sorry?
I was just going off what I printed out.
This is, oh, okay.
New construction?
Did you read Jim's? Probably the place to start right here.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Let me know when you're ready.
You can start. Did you sign in?
I didn't.
Okay, why don't you sign in, and by the time you sign in, when you come back, we'll be ready.
Okay. Two bedroom?
Mm.
I think I remember.
Plans for the 2 of you to share.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh, I have plans for it, sorry, okay, gotcha. I was going that way. We go to, okay,
Yeah, there's a big.
Good evening.
Evening.
Big area.
I'm Scott Hayes, Foresight Engineering. I'm here for 11 Worcester Road Trust, which is Joyce, excuse me, Joyce Halloran, Catherine Halloran, this house at 11 Worcester Road. There's an existing house here, existing 3-bedroom house. It failed Title V. Proposal is to raise the house, build a new.
It's a 3-bed?
It is, yeah. So the proposal is to raise the existing house, and construct a new house on the lot.
can I, is the existing permit for a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom?
For a 3-bedroom, as far as I was aware.
Because Jim thinks it's a 2-bedroom.
I told her, but
It's not what he,
I told her, this is.
Janet, do you know if there's a permit in the file?
This is 4-bedroom.
Yeah, there's press-
the proposal's for
And a-
4-bedroom.
and a-
He's
original?
saying that the original is a
Two.
2.
No, the original was Two.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out, James, we're gonna check the file.
And nevertheless, it's a new construction.
No, I mean an original permit from when the existing
I
system
don't
was.
think there's any problem.
Oh, I can go.
Yeah,
see, yeah.
so
We might
we're
be able to
proposing to
clear it
increase
up.
the flow regardless, so.
Okay.
There's an existing house here that failed Title V.
So you're gonna take the house out?
The proposal is to take the house down,
And you put in your system?
put a new system in,
Okay.
yes.
So we like that.
The lot is on the corner of Worcester Road and Concord Drive. There's wetlands to the rear of it. So the only place really suitable for a system would be up in this corner here, even if it were to serve the existing house, which is in the same area that the proposed house is in and covering pretty much the same footprint, slightly larger. It's just kind of sliding it over to minimum setbacks off the street. This area was surprisingly good for the lake. The water table is about 4 feet. Perks ran 10 minutes an inch. Never really had so much good luck on Long Lake. I've done a lot of work in the area and surprisingly good. We did hit refusal, so there was sort of just enough soil there, about 7 feet, 8 feet. We did hit bedrock, but the soil above that was pretty sandy till. And the water table was, again, about 4 feet. And the way the grade of the lot is, it kind of dips off the shoulder of Concord Road and then levels off into a flat yard and then sort of gently drops, behind the stone wall here. So the lot itself is pretty flat and kind of depressed from Concord Road. So the groundwater offset kind of brings the system up to the shoulder grade of the road. It doesn't really mound it, with the exception of this area here along the property line. So we're able to maintain a 50-foot setback with the primary and reserve, and we incorporated a poly barrier with a slope and a swale along the property line, kind of accommodate the amount of fill going in, because the grade is dropping this way. We're matching the street shoulder grade, and then the lot's kind of rolling away. So in order to do that, we proposed a barrier here and kind of grading right up to the lot line with a swale around, which is why we're here. We requested a variance under Regulation 27 for placement of fill and/or incorporation of retaining wall, pervious barrier with system. So that's why we're here, and I'm here to answer your questions and any concerned citizens.
I understand that septic system is right on the left. That's good. It's not interfere with anything. That's good.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody want to read Jim's comments?
Sure. 11 Worcester Road. The applicant has a 2-bedroom home at this address and is proposing the construction of a new 4-bedroom house. The site is small and has a high seasonal water table, and there are wetlands in the back of the lot. The conditions noted above restrict the area available for the system and the necessary system fill. The applicant is requesting a variance from your Regulation 27, placement of fill within 10 feet of lot lines and the use of a poly barrier. I can't recommend granting this variance for new construction at this site. The house on the abutting lot is very close to the lot line in question. I would be very concerned about the potential for surface runoff adversely affecting the property. The system designer has attempted to address the drainage issues, but since fill will be placed up to the lot line, there isn't space to direct the water. So,
Butters.
are there butters here tonight?
You're all abutters?
I'm not an abutter, but I'm here for the abutter.
And do you want to state your name and then say?
Brian Badger,
And who's the abutter you're with?
Charles Driscoll and Don Sloan.
And you had comments?
Well, it wasn't until I noticed today that he was on for tonight, so I didn't get a chance to get in touch with him earlier about some concerns. We had been working on number 17, trying to get a septic system in, and then when Ross did the survey, the house is actually over the lot line. Their house.
That's this house right here.
Yeah.
So in other words, the house is,
scale.
yeah, a little bit. So, what I would recommend that Scott and Ross Associates kind of figure out the lot line issues there.
Yeah, we,
I think that, I don't know if that was all SMED back.
well, yeah, it's all map of Long Lake, so it's you know, garbage survey to work off. I know Ross has done a lot of work out there. I'd love to hear what they have to say about what they've done. I've done a lot of work in the area as well, Lexington Place, the lot next door on 15 Concord Drive. Really, the whole neighborhood, we're pretty well tied in, so I have a degree of confidence in the survey. We don't have a location of the house, so I'm not sure if that this is accurate to being over the line. I'd like to know what they base their survey on, and I may or may not agree with them, but I think it's certainly worth looking into. That's of concern, if it's over the line, for sure.
I'm really sorry. The room that's, the.
Number 17, is that
Yeah,
a
it's
different
the-
house?
Yeah,
That's right here.
This house here.
Okay.
Okay, so that's really.
This is showing
Oh, I see it, yeah,
the rear corner of the
17.
house over the line.
So your septic
This
is
doesn't
right up
even
against
show the
that
house, it just shows the lot.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, so you're saying the house is like over here?
Yeah,
Over this line?
yeah,
Oh.
saying that the rear corner of that house actually encroaches on the
Yeah.
lot, like
Okay.
about,
which means
about in that
there's a
location
big
there.
grading issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are these houses?
What's that?
How old are the houses?
Oh, as old as Long Lake.
Yeah.
30s?
Yeah, I mean, the subdivision was, I think, in the 10s and 14s, and then, I don't know, the houses are developed slowly over time, so it depends.
You can make some adjustment, right?
We could, yeah. I mean, I think we need to, I'd like to confer with Ross. I trust their work and compare it with ours, make sure we're in agreement on where that boundary is. Obviously, that's important. And if we have an encroachment, I'd like to know that as well and show it on the plan, but we can certainly address that. I mean, if the barrier doesn't work and we're really tight up against this house, we can always peel, a 2-foot high concrete block wall, would get the grading back 2, 3, 4 feet off the property line. That should, accommodate it.
Can you make the adjustment on the design, then you can come back and we see it.
Yeah.
And if we could figure out if it's a 2-bedroom currently, or if it's a 3-bedroom currently, that'd be great.
It might, I think we should go through the process here because you're asking for an increase in flow, which is new construction.
Right. This is
And
new construction.
We don't typically give variances for that, and then we've got a recommendation from the health agent. So let's just go through the process here before we start dealing with that.
But
I'm sorry, the
if you make
process.
some adjustment,
Well,
He's got plenty
because
of room here.
we're we've got the issue about you're requesting a variance, and then we have an issue with the property line here. So
Right.
let's
Yeah.
talk about the variance first
Okay.
and go through that.
take care of that
And then
first.
that's kind of a different issue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had some other abutters here. Did you want to say
Yeah.
anything?
We don't really have any comments.
Oh,
I just
okay.
I was more trying to figure out where they were gonna be putting the septic, and it sounds like, I can't see the plan really well, but it sounds like,
Yeah, you can come
I
up.
just wanna see.
So
And where are you guys located?
We're across the street, we're number 6.
the existing
On the other
house,
side of-
I've got
We're on the other side of Worcester Road, so
ghosted
we're
out here
on
and
that,
going
yeah, right there.
around underneath. That's proposed as the maroon, but the existing is this kind of. So the existing house is here. The existing garage is here.
Okay.
And driveway.
All
So
right.
the red is the new.
Is the
red
new construction, and
proposed.
this is where you're gonna be putting the septic?
No, septic's here.
Septic's over there, okay,
Yeah.
all
Where we
right.
dug the holes, I'm sure you saw the.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just
So-
concerned
so
about.
right next door to 17,
Yeah.
the house there is.
Yeah. No, just my concern is that the whole area is kind of graded down towards our house, and I was just worried about runoff with the, with building up that area there, getting increased runoff into our yard and driveway. But it looks like it's not gonna affect this.
So, as I said on the variance, we have a recommendation from our health agent that not to grant it, and we don't typically recently give variances out for new construction. So, I guess, want to hear what other board members think?
See what they think. I feel that he's gonna make some adjustment, he's coming back, and then everybody will agree to it.
So
He's
you're-
gonna put the swells and everything, he's
Are you in
gonna do the
favor
right
of
thing.
granting a variance for a new construction?
Well, we usually don't need it, but the question is because of the situation, you know, sometimes you have to.
Okay. And what do you guys think?
He's got a beautiful lot.
I have a concern with it going up to, the increase in flow, going from 2 or 3, whatever it is, up to 4, and and now, you know, I know it's a separate issue, but
Yeah.
how close that other house is to where the you know, the lot line and where the system will be ending, so,
Which is what Jim's
Yeah.
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, I drove down there. It's pretty tight. But I think you can make some adjustments and
Yeah.
talk to Jim and come back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to really hammer that boundary home to
Mhm.
make sure I'm in concurrence with what Ross, with this plot plan.
But Kevin, are you thinking that you would vote for a variance from an increase in flow for a new construction?
I don't think so.
So what we could do, I guess we have a couple of options. We can either continue,
Continue.
Yeah, let's continue.
and you know that you're probably not gonna get a variance, from what you just
Well,
heard.
I don't think,
Or we can vote on the variance.
yeah, I'd rather not do that. I think, you know, we got room for improvement here and room for
Okay.
discussion.
Yeah.
Also, you know, regardless of where 2, 3, 4, I don't know that we're going to be able to get fill greater than 10 feet from the property line. So we're
Yeah.
gonna be here for that variance regardless. So-
Right, so typically there isn't a problem if it's not if it's not new construction, if it's an upgraded. So you'd have to find out, first thing is to find out what the permit is for, whether it's a 2 or a 3
I
bedroom.
don't know that there is.
What is it, 10 public record?
Yeah. But we have
There's
to
no
get,
permit on file, I don't think.
we have to get it straightened with Jim, because he thinks it's a 2 bedroom. So that needs to be ironed out, what it is now, whether it's 2 or 3, based on whatever information's available. And we know that sometimes not all the information is there.
Yeah, but even if it were 2, we're still proposing 4, so.
And so what you just heard is you're probably not gonna get a variance for 4, because that's new construction.
Which I got last year around the corner at 15 Concord Drive. We had
Oh,
a
it was
substantial retaining wall there,
Yeah.
and that was approved right on the property line. I mean, I guess it was.
So you might think about putting a wall then?
Well, I mean, there's options there to pull the grading back for sure. Just it's such a small area to work with, regardless of what you do.
Mhm.
You take that 10 feet, and then you've got an elevated system with breakout. I mean, this is the extent of the area that's available for a system, and it's not very big, you know. So
It really is a lot for a 2 bedroom or a 3, a smaller house and a smaller system.
What if you lift that house up a little bit higher and slide the system in the front of the house?
well, I mean, we're at minimum setback off the street sidelines, and
We're
really
not asking to change that. Just slide this system towards the front of the house and use the
Again, we have
front.
setbacks from 10 feet from a slab foundation, maybe 20 feet from a full basement. Right now, we're 10 feet off the garage.
The garage is a slab.
The garage is a slab, yeah. So, and again, I mean, the proposed dwelling is essentially on the footprint of the existing house. It's not like, you know, is it larger? It's slightly larger, but it's, you know, the existing garage is here and the existing house is here. We're basically proposing to build on that same relative footprint, you know, just slightly larger, so.
But then you need the bigger system to handle the flow.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's incremental, sure. So it'd be 25% smaller if we were 3 bedrooms, and
Yeah.
it'd be 50% smaller 2 bedrooms, you know, so. We have testing and adequate setback otherwise than for the fill to a property line. And when you look at Regulation 23 and Regulation 27, I mean, it's clear to me that the board intended to make accommodation for situations when you were in a tight situation. Regulation 27 prohibits fill within 10 feet of a property line. And then it goes on to say, a butter notification shall be in accordance with Regulation 23. And then you read Regulation 23, and, you know, it kind of lays a path out for getting approval for fill, placement within 10 feet, and use of retaining
Yeah,
wall.
and we do that pretty consistently for upgrades.
Yeah. I didn't see any reference to that in the regulation.
Listen.
And just not consistent with my experience with the board. I understand the composition of the board has changed, but
Yeah,
it's, you
it's
know.
pretty consistent.
from now, moving
Well,
forward, you mean?
been for a while.
Well, 2017, 2000. I don't remember when I did that Worcester, I'm sorry, that Concord Drive law. That was.
So do you want to
a year ago.
continue it?
I
Is
would.
that- Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so do we want to move to continue?
Make sure you get a stamp on it so we have it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to continue discussion for 11 Worcester Road
You have to say the time. James.
at
11:13.
7:20 on November 13th.
November 13th.
Will that give you enough time to get the property line?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it will. Yeah. We can sort that out
You
pretty
get a
quickly.
second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay.
I'm sorry, it was 11:13, what time?
7:20.
7:20.
You're welcome. And then a little but scheduled for 7:40, apologize for running late, is public hearing for K Estates lots 31 to 50, Hancock Associates, fill within 10 feet of the property line for septic system.
Popular subject.
Good evening.
Hello.
You're doing good on schedule.
Well, we're a little over.
You're doing good.
Yeah. We aim to please, right?
You please.
Good
And
evening.
you're all pleasant.
For the record, Brian Goodrow with Hancock Associates, along with attorney Cheryl Gould. My apologies, Dave sends his apologies, he wasn't able to make it tonight. Dave Guthrie, the
He's probably at the
applicant.
Red Sox game or something.
You know, I believe he had a
I
an
guess.
Prior
engagement,
engagements
yes.
at 8 o'clock?
Right around 8 o'clock.
8:09.
Yawkey Way.
8:09.
Yeah. So, we're here tonight to discuss fill within a lot line for K Estates. I believe there was just a little bit of confusion in the last time that we were before this board, just procedurally. Apparently, we didn't quite describe exactly what we wanted and went through the
I
exact
think the
steps.
first time it was discussion.
It was discussion, and
So
we
we
had.
can't vote on it if it's a
Correct,
discussion.
correct. So what we had originally wanted was the variance, but, you know, I don't, however it happened, we're here this evening.
You
and
can't get a
we-
variance during discussion. That's what
Correct.
happened, yeah.
It was, yeah. So, what we've done since that meeting is we notified the direct butters, and we looped in all of K Estates. So just to kind of run back through the history of the parcel and the project, starting with Durkee Farm Estates to the south. Back in 2015, Durkee Farm Estates was approved with subdivision approval, and then we subsequently went to conservation and this board, and we had requested the same relief, essentially, because Mr. Guthrie and Mr. Finneral are essentially building out the entire subdivision as one project. So the discussion that we had at that time with Mr. Graffi with respect to fill between lot lines was that he views it as fill to natural ground, to what exists when we permitted the project, essentially, regardless of the fact that the road's there. Which would have changed what was the existing condition. So the way that we designed the project, and this is exactly the same as what we're doing with K Estates, so while I'm describing Durkee Farm Estates, K Estates is designed in the exact same way. We picked up the roads, we tried to put septic systems in the front, and kind of pull the development up close to the right-of-way, and that would allow kind of continuous grading in yards between the subdivision itself.
Excuse me, next time make sure we have a little one instead of only one there. You have a little one at all?
I have a little one if you want to use it.
I apologize.
No problem.
So, you know, with that said, the variance was granted for the entirety of Durkee Farm Estates, and we think it's worked quite well. I don't know if any of the board members have driven through there, but it's kind of a rolling topography, and it's not broken up, you know, lot by lot. It's
So
just
you're putting only 2 homes, right? Only 2?
on K Estates. K Estates is going to be 23
23.
single-family
Okay.
homes. So when we were here before this board for discussion last time, it was specific to lots 31, 32, and 33 on Fir. And then what we've done is we've incorporated the balance of the project. So what we've done, again, is we're trying to put septic systems next to the road. The road's picked up over existing grade to allow for the offset to groundwater and be fully Title V compliant. Grading and drainage is such that backyard sheet to the wetlands at the rear, front yard sheet to the road, which is collected by catch basins to stormwater management facilities. Now, when we went through the exercise for this public hearing, we notified all of our direct abutters, of which there were 7. 2 were across Grimes. We're not proposing anything down in that area. We had 2 abutters in the front. We had 2 abutters to the side, and 1 abutter to the rear, and 1 abutter in Durkee Farms Estates.
Do you have the receipts for those? Did they submit them?
I can certainly do that. And so, with respect to just abutters in general, essentially, it really speaks to the intent of what we're trying to do. We're really trying to keep the project within itself, to grade within itself, and make it a cohesive project. So, with respect to these outlying abutters, we've created separation between the property lines, and we're not grading. There's vegetated buffers, like I said, swales and drainage, direct runoff either to the road or to the residing wetlands behind the lot, and not to adjacent properties. I don't think we're really trying to reinvent the wheel here. I believe what we've done and proven very successful on Durkee Farm Estates, we're going to carry through K Estates. I believe last time when we had discussion, Mr. Greffy did offer comments, and he didn't have any reservations with respect to
We want
that.
to give you a hard time. Continue.
We're not.
And then we'll say nice things about it.
We can read Mr. Greffy's comment if you want. But if you want to read it, Jeff?
There's an extension of the Durkee Farm subdivision, and the lot is extended, like the lots of Durkee Farm, are going to be filled together as they build the houses. The engineer has designed these lots to integrate the side grading and the fill for the septic system between the lots to avoid surface runoff issue. The fill for the septic system will be within 10 feet of the lot line, and the lots will require variance to your regulation. With the Durkee Farm subdivision, the board granted a variance for the entire development, with the understanding that the lots were being graded together to avoid surface runoff issue. The same thing is proposed for the K Estate. Now you want to give me a little bit more, come on.
One more sentence. It's a good sentence.
No, don't read it. Go ahead, tell us something a little bit more about that. You said you're gonna have 27?
23
We're trying to
lots.
stay on schedule.
22. Okay.
23 lots.
Okay, he's waiting for the last line, see?
I don't have a problem with their request.
Oh, see, you spoiled it.
We're trying to move it along here. They're Title V compliant, except the fill to keep it.
Except
And
for the local
I'm just curious, so, this was developed, the drainage in conjunction with the planning?
With
Planning
planning and
looks at
fully,
drainage,
and
yeah.
fully vetted by Green International.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, they have up
It's gonna
here.
be-
And we've already gone through conservation, and we have valid order.
I'm not sure how.
Do we have any abutters here? Would you like to speak?
Yes, I actually also sent in a letter as well.
Okay, and
but-
did you sign in?
I did.
Okay.
Actually, we should read that out.
Yeah.
Are you, Matt?
Yes, Matthew
Okay.
Richard. Yeah.
Should we read it, or should?
Yeah, do you want to read it, or do you
Sure,
want us to?
I'd be happy to.
Go
Yep.
ahead.
So do you want to sit down, or would you like to stand?
I don't mind standing.
Okay, that's great,
You
thank
want a
you.
microphone too?
You want me to be close enough so you can be heard?
No, no,
Oh.
I think they can hear you.
So my name is Matthew Richard. I, along with Catherine Richard, own 16 Fraser Street, which is lot 14, abutting 33K, located in Durkee Farm subdivision. So I received the notice October 11th, 2018 for the variance in Regulation 23. We have concerns about the grading that's been done both in the existing lots when they are not done filled together, as well as some historical pieces from other neighbors who also have had concerns when the lots are not done at the same time. As an abutter, we have a particular low spot where drainage from the other abutting lot, lot 13, drains in near our property line and towards the concrete foundation where we have permitted finished space and an entranceway there. So in the case of that property, we're concerned with the regrading of it and the way that, and from the plan, how it flows in. We frequently have standing water there, even with moderate rains. Tonight, for example, we have about an inch of standing water, even from that. The poor drainage is within roughly 6 feet of the entrance and concrete foundation. Speaking with our neighbors, we found that other poor drainage results from the newly finished lots is not uncommon. So we have several neighbors who have highlighted that. I've supplied a figure that shows some of the key areas. Many of them are along the swales that are put in, and also along the boundaries of septic systems, right up to the edge of them. So that'd be lots 23 and 24, lots, sorry, tough to read, 5 and 28. And those were all places where 2 properties were filled at different times. Yep. So we think that there should be additional study and looking. We've gone through the plans. I'm not an engineer, so I can't speak to the veracity of the specifics, but we can certainly see from the plans that that it does show lot 33, the drainage plan is towards lot 13 and 14 with a swale that is in the same spot that we have the drainage issues.
So you're a butter, so you have the right to, to complain, but the engineer should talk to the builder to make sure that everything should be done right.
Sounds like an
Because
as-built
otherwise-
problem.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you build the 1 or 2, and the rest of it is not gonna be built. So you are the witness, you're gonna keep an eye on it.
So we have several existing ones as well, and I think that was our concern, is that this has almost become a pattern within the
Because if
neighborhood.
you can't prohibit the customer to have built on their own property, but if you have some suggestion, it doesn't cost nothing but to talk to the construction company, and you should be the one to do that, okay?
The reason that they're filling across lines, so they're not going like this, and which is supposed to improve the drainage. So as far as the Board of Health is concerned, you know, we're approving
Right.
filling in between, which should improve. But it sounds to me, and I'm not an engineer, but it sounds like it's an as-built problem where the, and you guys chime in, but where the drainage might work on the plan, but then if it's not
No,
working in
right.
functioning, then either there's a difference in permeability between the fill, or it just wasn't built to
And I think
plan.
that's our neighborhood concerns, that it's
Which
not
is
functioning
not-
as
Which is
as
not Board of
planned.
Health.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hate saying that, because it's not, you're here and we'd like to help, but it's not,
Are you open with speaking with them?
Is it something you- yeah,
About the
can we-
drainage?
Speak
and-
offline, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm. I believe we have several others also pending drainage issues as well.
Yeah, after the meeting,
Yeah,
I'll be
we-
happy
Do you
to
want to
take
show
your
them a map?
information.
and-
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
maybe
They can put
whoever
more
approved
swell, they
the
can put more swell.
the
There's some
drainage, I
crushed
think
stone,
it's
there's some
planning.
Coltex.
Yeah, I think that's what we were looking for, is some other remediation, crushed stone, French drain, something
Yeah,
that
right,
keeps it
right.
more directly from ponding.
Keep the
and-
water away
Right.
from the house.
That's
and
exactly
away from
what
your
we're
septic
Because I know
system.
planning
Yeah.
knows there's problems out there and they're concerned about it. So if you haven't been in front of them, I know it's a lot of running around, that might be. a
We
good
haven't
place
known, in
to
fact, and I apologize, this was the first notice that we'd received,
Yeah.
and so we were eager to come, sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate your concern.
Yeah, no, no,
You're gonna put a lot of
just-
swell.
Do you have something to?
Just to address the abutters' concerns also, the site's not stabilized because it's under construction, and this
Right.
is not an unusual problem with a site under construction. Giannetta's been on site, I spoke to, Giannetta's the name, what's,
Genetic, Mike.
Genetic.
Giannetti.
Do you want to introduce yourself? 'Cause you
Excuse
might
me,
not
sorry,
know who
Cheryl
you are.
Gould, the attorney for the project. And I spoke to Mr. Griffey and Mr. Guthrie this morning about that, and Brian, of course. They all confirmed that Janetti is very approachable, very willing to help and to create whatever the swale or the drainage to the rear and not against your lot, and to keep the swale of trees available and everything. So I think they're all trying to work together, and they're more than happy to look at it, but I think some of it may be because it's under construction and not vegetated yet.
And do they all have builder's warranties?
Yeah.
We're past the builder's warranty
You're past
phase,
it,
yeah.
okay.
Except that you have a right not to have water enter your lot, and
Right.
that goes beyond the warranty. So if something should happen, as they said, in the construction or in the as-built, after it gets stabilized, you have rights and remedies.
You know where to find her?
What's that?
You know where to
Oh,
find her?
yeah. I think we've got it all taped.
Yeah.
Did you gentlemen have something else to add to?
So my name is Kevin Brogan. I'm here with my wife Tony Brogan, and we have signed in. We live at 48 Grimes Lane, which is directly behind and below this property. I believe below, slightly below this property. Our well is in the back of our yard on the property that abuts this property. There may be a strip of conservation land between, I don't know, between. So I'm not sure. I came here to learn tonight more than anything. Our well is back there. We're a brand new house. I'm concerned about our well. There's a lot of water going on all around here. There's water over to the train station side of us.
Do you want to come over and
Yeah,
identify
point yourself-
your lot
point yourself.
on the map so we can see?
48 Grimes Lane, right? Is it not there?
Mm.
Identifiable?
It's
Not by
numbered
address.
48. If you can
Yeah.
show us on the lot.
It's gonna be town water, right?
You gotta give me where's my Grimes Lane?
Grimes
So
Lane's
where's,
right
where,
That direction.
These are the two new houses?
yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't look like my lot, but yes, that's our lot. So
Okay.
we abut right here.
Okay.
And one of my questions was gonna be, is there a septic tank proposed?
No, nope.
Back here.
So the only lots that are in the general vicinity are up in this area here.
And
Yes, but
septic
are the
systems are in the
septic
front yard.
systems in the
no-
backyard?
The septic system is in the side yard, and then
Great.
yes, this one's in the side yard, and we do have one in the rear, but this is the one that's furthest away from your property.
Yep, good. So that was my primary.
That was your concern.
It was, our well
Yeah.
is on the very back
Right,
end
right.
of our property. There's a whole bunch of water,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of water here. 50 is higher than us. When it rains, the water flows down from 50 into our side yard, into a gravel cul-de-sac that's been built
Just
there.
remember that nobody can put a septic system right near the well, so don't worry about it,
Okay,
okay?
yep.
That's guaranteed. I mean, I am worried about it.
No,
We have a 3-month-old house.
No.
We're new to having a well. We've had it tested.
he's going,
We're
like I
good.
mentioned before, he's the engineer, he's gonna talk to the construction people and make sure there's gonna be a lot of
This one's
swell.
100.
So they
Much
prohibit the water to go in anybody's property.
But you don't have a septic system.
We do?
We do. It's in our
No,
front
no.
yard.
The new build, they're not building a
Oh.
septic system adjacent to you.
Okay. I have one other.
You can come up and look at the plan if you'd like to.
That's okay.
I have one other question. You said earlier that usually waivers aren't granted for new construction. Is this a different kind of a waiver?
This is a little different because it went through the planning board and they've been working on the drainage. And they actually are Title V compliant, all the septic systems. The grading is actually just for grading, for drainage, not to make it Title V compliant. Anybody else have anything to add to that? Gina?
I think it looks better when the two lots are graded
Yeah,
together as opposed to having two
For
sort of
aesthetic.
mounds.
And the drainage will
together.
be better, so you're not gonna have all these rivers running in between the septic systems. So it's a little bit different.
Is
So
Durkee town water or are they all wells?
Yeah, everything is town water.
Okay. So you're
He has
you're
a
not
well.
Durkee,
Yeah,
you're
so
you're in
Grimes
Grimes?
Lane doesn't actually have a water main on it.
Okay.
So we pulled it off of Foster Street and brought it into
Oh,
the
okay.
subdivision, so this is all new.
Are you regrading here?
A little bit, yeah.
Why?
Stormwater. So we're
Oh.
directing it actually around that lot,
Yeah.
into the
Okay.
wetlands adjacent.
Okay, but the nearest septic system is way over here, right?
Is, yeah, I mean,
So
that would
that's-
be that one or that one
Yeah,
or
where's
that
the-
one, which is probably 2,
Away.
4, 300 feet.
Yeah, okay. You had something else?
So I just had one question on the remedy. So several of these areas highlighted have been outstanding for more than 6 months. And so we're curious as homeowners what the remedy on these that have already been granted is, if any, and what a reasonable period of time would be to expect that these would be remediated.
You mean the drainage problems?
Yes.
So, that's not the Board of Health, but we want to be helpful, so did you want to?
I didn't hear the question. What's
I'm
6
sorry.
months? I'm sorry.
So in some cases, these are going concerns for 6 months. So we're curious what the remedy is to get the action. I'm sure you'll contact me after, but I mean, we're looking at some that have been around for quite a while. So given that this is our only opportunity, with the drainage before it actually happens, we're concerned that it could be a going concern for us for 6 months or more as well.
when we develop vegetated cover, it's done seasonally. So right now, if we were to address anything, it would be more with a crushed stone application to basically slow down water and stop erosion and convey it properly. Depending on if issues are still happening in the spring, then it would be a case of potentially regrading, loaming, and seeding. That way you get new grass and
So 6 months is a
situation.
reasonable time to have
Depending,
to remedy?
depending on the situation. It's all dependent on where the water's coming from, how fast it's going, and what it's being conveyed to.
Okay.
Just keep in touch, okay?
Absolutely, thank you.
Just a quick question, what's the average size for each lot?
You might need to state your name and where you're coming from.
Lilia Flores from 51 Hartwell, I did sign in.
Okay.
What's the average lot size?
What is it, quarter of an acre for each side?
This is an acre.
An acre.
per
Just
lot.
about an acre?
Got plenty of land.
And how many bedrooms there?
How many beds are gonna, to each house?
4 typically.
About 4, because
Thank you.
children, the little rats.
Did you want to
Gotta
see
have, you
the
know?
Sorry.
plan? We can walk if you want. Do you have any other comments or questions from? the
Sir, did
community?
you with the Red Sox hat? Did you have? You just
Don't
here for
mind.
support?
Besides Go Sox.
Starting.
No, Matt.
Okay, all right.
Okay, everybody happy then?
Do we want to, any other questions from the board?
No, I think it.
They all have fill easements.
Correct. So Mr. Greffey is very diligent about making sure that we have those recorded prior to any occupancy. So they're being recorded in the chain of title.
Okay.
It depends on the lot. So yes, there are a couple, and we anticipate that there will be more.
So you're gonna come back again to see us then?
Do you want to vote?
Or no?
Sure.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to grant the variance as presented on the plan, dated, is that September or what's your date?
Yeah. So it was dated
October?
Yeah, October 30th, 2017. Last revised February 14th, 2018.
Do you have a stamp on that?
Or, excuse me.
Do you have a stamp on that?
You don't
Yeah.
have a stamp.
Not on this specific copy,
don't?
but
You have a stamp?
this plan was the plan that was approved with the
Oh,
planning board.
okay,
So
okay.
yes, there is a.
When you do come, make sure you have it.
I can certainly get copies
Okay.
for the file. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
All right, second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, being concerned, thank you so much.
Alrighty. Little one back. Littleton Volunteer Corps.
Give it to us, too.
Who's here from Littleton Volunteer Corps?
Yeah, give it to us.
They called today to say
They're
that they
busy.
would not be here.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Busy too. But they would like you to make the vote, take the vote. then.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So the vote is to position elevation of deputy director for Crystal Jeffrey.
I think.
Can you explain that to me? I don't know. I don't know what this
No.
is.
The former chief, which is, her name is Carter,
Yeah.
actually wants to have 2 board of health there, and I think she's going Wednesday at the fire department, and they're gonna introduce this gentleman that is gonna be what? He says, don't you have anything on it? That's what he told me, that you're
What,
gonna be there.
the position? the
No,
elevation?
Is that
that's,
position?
Well, there's a discussion at the,
yeah,
about,
that's, I think it's 2 different things. So that was, a guy's coming in to talk to us about safety and,
Emergency preparedness.
Okay, yeah.
And so
right,
it's
right.
on the.
well, just what his experience when the tornadoes hit.
Yeah.
In, what was it,
I don't know,
Brimfield?
we're
you
gonna
said?
be there
Brimfield,
Wednesday,
yeah.
right?
So, yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
You're gonna go?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I was
And
gonna
so
go.
the other thing is that they want position elevation and deputy director for Crystal Jeffrey.
Mhm.
And I guess I'm thinking that if they ask for something, we should give it to them. I don't know
Sounds
what you
good.
guys, if you guys want some more information or anything.
I don't really know that much about the volunteer corps, so.
Forwarded to you.
They're watching baseball.
You're still here, what are you gonna do?
I know, what are you doing?
You have any problem?
Do you have a discussion about the proposed reg changes?
Yes. I
Well, that's why you're here.
All right, so you want to make a motion to elevate Crystal Jeffries to the Deputy Director of the Littleton Volunteer Corps?
Sounds perfect.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed.
Good for her.
Oh, did you have a comment on that? Is that why you're here?
No, that was the easiest thing you guys did all night.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8 o'clock.
Got a good bunch, didn't you?
We're 12 minutes late. Public hearing continued, proposed regulation changes.
Did I had gotten an email from Ted Doucette late in the afternoon. Did I
Yeah.
send it
Yep.
to you?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I had it.
So-
I got it too.
On the regulation changes, I just want to make a comment. I think that we heard a lot in writing and people coming in and alluding or saying directly that the board isn't capable or experienced enough. And I just want to make something very clear. The Board of Health right now has elected members, elected by the town. And the experience we have on the Board of Health is really very broad and all very applicable. So it includes engineering, and I'm talking about professional experience and different levels of educational degrees and also professional certifications. So on the board, we have representation of experienced construction people, property management and development, real estate, public health or healthcare, engineering, and environmental science and groundwater. So I think that we need to make that clear, and that people who are coming to speak before us need to have a little bit more respect for that. And that we are a publicly elected board, and that needs to be clear from now on. So I had done one of the things that came up was that there was requests for additional information on the environmental benefits, and starting at really what septic systems are for, why we need them, and why we want the additional regulations, or not in some cases. But I think it's important to get some facts out there, so I put together a summary. You guys are welcome to these, of information. It's just an initial summary addressing some of the questions. But, what I found is, and there's a very good paper that's put out by, first off, I talked to a bunch of people. Mass Department of Environmental Protection. I tried to get in touch with Massachusetts Alternative Septic System Test Center, Littleton Water Department, Acton Health Department. And some of the most up-to-date information on the environmental and public health impacts of septic systems is available through the Buzzards Bay initiative on the Cape Cod. They're under a legal order, and they're up against having to spend a lot of money, millions of dollars, on sewer because of the result of septic systems on their groundwater resources and public health. So I was told, and it looks like it, when I looked at it, was that if you go to the Buzzards Bay Comprehensive Conservation Management Plan 2013 update, and specifically the Action Plan 5, Managing On-Site Wastewater Disposal Systems, and that's available online. That it's a good source, and I had asked Janet to pass that around to everybody.
I saw that.
It gives some background on septic systems, and basically Title V is a minimum requirement for environmental public health protection, and certain towns throughout the Commonwealth have decided to put in additional protections, and some towns have not. They've decided not to put in additional protections. And that's how boards of health are empowered to do that and can exercise authority to do it. And that's the determination of the Board of Health and the community on whether they want to do that. But I think it also has to be acknowledged that that this is what is done in many communities and some of the communities surrounding us, and it's also not done in other communities. So it comes down to whether we want additional environmental protection of our water resources, public health, and the environment or not. And so I have a bunch of information here that I'm more than happy to go through, but I think it would be good if we went around, since we did a lot of listening last time and had some comments, so do you want to start? Kevin, do you
Sure.
wanna-
Before you get into that, can
Yeah.
I pass this around?
And we
Louise
have Ted's letter to read to.
Louise wanted, asked to have that.
Oh,
read.
good.
So if you could, there's one for each of you.
Oh,
She
okay.
just emailed it to me late this afternoon.
Does anybody else want to read this, or just say what?
I'll read it.
Okay.
To the Board of Health and all attendees, first of all, I appreciate everyone that attended the last meeting on October 9th and all of your comments regarding the proposed regulation changes. Based on comments and feedback provided by the public and careful consideration, I am withdrawing my support of the proposed regulation changes. I believe there will be significant negative changes to the town if these regulations are approved. Septic systems will be expensive, if not impossible, to build. This will increase the cost of homes. New people looking to live in Littleton won't be able to afford, and existing homeowners won't be able to stay in town. Since this is such a contentious topic, I'm requesting that no vote be taken until a complete board is present. Louise Nichols, Littleton Board of Health.
Thank you for reading it.
I also have a statement that I've prepared too. So when the board's members proposed changing these local bylaw regulations, I was in favor of them because I thought that this was going to improve and protect our water. We've had so the expert and the professional input given at the last public hearing reminded us that there have been no DEP and no Littleton Water Department issues since the bylaws were repealed in 2007 and 2011. So without any scientific evidence, there appears to be no reason to change these bylaws. I had not considered the effects that the changes would have made to our residents and our landowners. Now that I have a better understanding of the practical applications of these proposed changes, and I also wish to withdraw my support for them. I don't see why we have to go through 7 months of changes when we've seen no problems with what we have so
Are you
far.
making a motion?
Well, I guess, yes, I'm making a motion to discontinue.
Louise wants us to wait.
Continue discussion until the whole board's.
She wrote.
Well, I think we're all giving feedback after the meeting, so why don't we go around?
I'll tell you, it has been weighing on me heavy for 2 weeks. I went into somebody else's car on Wednesday night because it was so in my head. I went south on 495 because it was bothering me so much. I really don't think that it's our place to do this, to make these changes in these laws that we haven't seen any problems with them. So I'm, like I said, withdrawing my support. I think we should wait until, continue the discussion on these bylaw changes to the next meeting when the whole board is here.
I agree with you.
I agree, we need to talk to some people and get their eyes on some of the regulations and the environmental.
We never had any problem up to this particular moment that, I appreciate you people.
And did you read Ted? I mean, Ted.
But in Littleton like
Ted
this,
is a wealth of knowledge.
Well, I think on this, we're all gonna have different opinions, and we just have to respect each other's opinions, so you respect your opinion. So, did you wanna say something?
Yeah, I mean, I think we heard a lot at the last meeting from people in person who were not in favor of any changes. And I think that there are a lot of the stakeholders in the situation. We read some letters from people who are for the regulation changes or some sort of change to help protect the environment. I think we need to do our due diligence and speak with the people at the DEP and get some data and get some science behind the justifications and make a case that is strong if we're going to do something.
I heard that too. And I think the attorney is going to come maybe next meeting, but I agree with the young lady. I mean, I figure if I say something, I'd be against 4 people. But now she spoke, and I agree with her. There is no reason, if some changes might be made, it will be with consultation with the construction individual, the engineers. So they may, because they are on the field. But if we have to make regulation that we're not even in a field, that's not right. Because a lot of people have a piece of property and they wanted to sell it, they wanted to build it. Like the house there, two bedroom. She wants to build a house, the same form, 4 bedroom. Why? Because she can get more money out of it. You can't blame her. I mean, I think I know the individual. you can't blame them, you know, but we have to make a comeback. But I agree, and if anybody makes a motion, next meeting, I hope I'm here, unless God takes me away, but I'm gonna vote no. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I appreciate what you guys did, the work and everything, but I've been here for so many years. Do you know what they call me? Mr. Board of Health.
Probably a lot of things.
Yeah. All right?
Thank you.
Did you have anything else?
I have a couple calls into some DEP people to see if some of these things are justified.
Well, I guess what I heard was that you've already decided, that people have decided, so I don't know if it's even worth keeping going.
Yeah.
There are other ways to handle, like, water quality. I mean, some of the things that I heard last week, I didn't agree with. I mean, it's people's opinions, and we had people who put septic systems in, but there's other people with different. And so I did want to find out, because what the deal is, and I'm not gonna go through this, but you've got it. I mean, there are contaminants that come out of septic systems. It's not like, you know, the E. coli gets treated in the 2 feet below the working septic system, but there's other stuff that comes out. I mean, they just found PFAS, and they're up against, they just spent $4 million. And then there's a, you know, quote in a Mass DEP PFAS fact sheet: as a consequence of widespread use of PFAS in consumer products, the effluent from residential septic systems and wastewater treatment plants can contribute to environmental concentrations at a site. And I also talked to the water department, and the data that they have indicates that we're in pretty good shape for water resources, that little fluctuation in phosphorus. But that has to do with where they're sampling, and you take one sample from the middle of the lake, and those are all nuances that go into it. So I just want to be clear that I think that what we heard last week, and this is just my opinion, is from one part of the community who's interested, you know, most of the people there were developers.
Okay.
Or there were people from past boards who, you know, obviously don't think that we need additional regulations. So in my mind, it was more, you know, they had a right to comment, but there's another flip side to it too. So, anyway, that's all I have to say. But if we've already got 3 people on the board who have already not supporting it, I don't even know if it's worth going forward. I mean, there's other avenues for doing water assessments and things.
Our job is to protect the public health, and we should just
Well,
continue to do that.
We all have,
Yeah, and
we all have the
I believe that too.
opportunity to protect, you know what I mean? And also we'll put the people, the water department, they gave us some input. Okay, we are very lucky, we have
I have
nice
stuff from the
wells.
water
We got,
department, too.
you know, the water is very good. I mean, I drink it. If I drink it, everybody should be living 100 years. That's good water. I don't know about her, she doesn't eat, she eats chocolate.
I bring chocolate, but I don't eat.
Well, when they sample too, and these are, again, the nuances, they only sample for a certain sweet. And the water wells look good, but there's definitely other stuff out there that we don't sample for. But again, you know, some communities put the regulations in and some don't.
Yeah.
And we're
All
surrounded, we
depends.
do have adjacent communities, and
All depends, because some community, maybe they're not so close to the land or so close to the lake and so close to.
I know, but some people would say that's even more of a reason for protecting.
No.
Anyway, we don't have to argue about it anymore. Yeah.
So Amy from Lewis, and I'm at 3 Omega Way.
Thank you.
And sounds like the board is leaning towards not pursuing this, but I would definitely really want to encourage the board to really continue to persevere to keep our water healthy, whether we're drinking in it or swimming in it. I think it's our most valuable resource here in Littleton, and it kind of makes what Littleton's really special with all our ponds and great water quality. So I'd really encourage you to find whatever avenue it is or whatever mechanism it is to improve the quality here and the resource.
Thank you, and thank you for coming. Anybody else have a comment?
Did you sign in, sir?
No.
You sign in, otherwise I have to escort you to the door.
You know what?
Do you want to decide?
Does anybody else on the
I
board
will
want to
sign
say
it,
anything?
you know.
You're coming tomorrow?
Yes.
Do we read,
Do we need to read Ted's letter?
Why do we have to do that?
Well,
I don't think we need to read Ted's letter,
Yes.
because we heard what Ted said last time. You can read it if you'd like.
Okay. Dear board members, first, I do want to recognize and commend you for running a good hearing and staying focused. There was a potential for the hearing to go off the rails, but you were able to keep it professional and respectful, even with all the personalities in the room. I appreciate your patience to allow comment on each and every proposed regulation. At the hearing, you heard from myself, a professional engineer with 15 years of experience in septic system design and construction, former board members with combined time on the board of about 20 years who previously revised the regulations based on the negative impact on Littleton residents, the builders, installers, who combined had a few decades of experience working with homeowners, developers, who can foresee the direct impact of the proposed regulations. Based on public comments, there seem to be two common themes in the public comments. The proposed changes to the regulations provide no additional environmental benefit, and two, the proposed changes to the regulations will cause additional permitting requirements, increasing the cost and time for residents to upgrade or construct septic systems, limiting what they can be done on some properties in Littleton, and may prevent residents from full use of their property. As you can understand, my opinion is that these regulations should not be voted in due to the fact that there is no additional environmental benefit, and there is good probability that they will be a detriment to residents. I hope that you will consider the feedback from experienced professionals and former board members and not enact the proposed regulation changes. Unfortunately, I cannot make the meeting tonight. If you would like to discuss for these topics further, I would be happy to meet with you during an upcoming meeting. And I think he would be great to talk to. And, you know, can we have him as a consultant? You know, when you
I
get
don't think
these-
it's appropriate to have somebody as a consultant who's coming in and asking us for permits.
Right, I guess.
That's
If he's not
at
the.
all, no, it's a complete.
If he's not.
He's the guy who repealed the
And he-
regulations.
I
But
mean,
if
we're kind of beyond that, but, I mean, obviously, he doesn't agree. He's got a difference of opinion, but we
Right.
can't have him as a consultant when he's coming before us.
For any permit?
No.
Or just not his client?
I mean, I wouldn't choose to have him as a consultant if he's coming before us,
If we're gonna have a
and-
consultant, it
so
would
I'm
be
not
someone
gonna
from the
vote for that.
DEP. We're the local arm of the
Yeah.
DEP, and that's who would be our
We have a
consultant.
technical person. I'd like to submit the notes that I took, just because I think there's more to the story here, and I'd like it on the record. So I want those to be included in the record and included in the minutes.
Are you gonna continue the meeting, or?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think there's a reason to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
That
so.
we need a motion.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gina.
Make a motion to adjourn.
No.
That's right.
I like to see him laugh once in a while. All right.
I make a motion to discontinue discussion on the regulation bylaw changes and to keep them.
I think we closed the hearing.
Close the hearing.
Close the hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Or the
close.
public the public
Close the
hearing.
public hearing?
Yeah.
On the regulation bylaw changes, proposals?
Yeah.
And keep the regulations the way they are.
Okay. Second.
Can you put those two together? Because I'm not going to vote on the second part. Just close the
Okay,
hearing.
Okay, close the hearing on the proposed bylaw changes.
Yeah. You're a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And now we can adjourn.
Can we talk
And
about
now-
this, or put it on the next?
Oh, the pot.
I don't know, I
That's
don't
when
know
the
if
chocolate
maybe you
is.
wanna,
I've
And-
been looking at it for a while.
We should probably put this on the agenda.
Okay.
Because
We're
people
not
might
done,
wanna
Janet's
show
not
up.
done yet.
if we just closed the hearing, is that enough to leave the regulations the way they are?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're not.
Because you're not
Yeah.
voting on changing them?
Not doing
Okay.
anything.
I did up,
But-
I noticed, I make a motion to adjourn, okay?
Well, no, we're gonna work on the agenda for next
Kevin
time.
still has something.
We have the deed restriction policy.
I don't think it
for-
was on the agenda.
It wasn't
though.
on the agenda. We can't talk about that, right?
No.
Yeah.
No,
We'll have to do
And
it next
then
time.
can we put the marijuana stuff on for next time? Thanks.
We can do that next time.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Motion to
He's looking
adjourn?
for the sign in. He's looking.
Motion to adjourn?
I said motion to adjourn.
Second.
And I need a
Second.
chocolate.
All in favor?
Jeez,
Aye.
me.
Aye.